Great Convos Season 5 is here, and we're coming in strong.
Woo! We are back. Oh my gosh, it has felt like we have been gone forever, but we are back. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Great Combos, where we always say, whether you agree or disagree, you can always find great combos. My goodness, it feels good to be back. I'm Roger Caesar, and that gentleman over there.
Hey, Roger, glad to be here back with you again. Roger, I am Alexandre. Matt, how are you, Roger?
Oh my goodness, I am feeling good, my friend. Feeling good. I'm telling you, it's fresh off of being in Barbados for District 81 Spring Conference last week. Shout out to everybody there. Had a phenomenal time with everyone there. Just want to say hello to all of those members in District 81. But I'm feeling good, man. It feels good to be back. Feels good. Only thing that's wrong, it is so cold here. So cold. Considering that I was in 35 to almost 40-degree weather, and then to come here and it's 14.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, welcome back home, Roger.
Thank you, sir. What about you, my friend?
Well, I was very tranquil or very calm here at home with the kids. Two of them went for a sleepover with their friends, so I was alone with one of them for one evening. I had a date night with my 4-year-old. High dining at a local McDonald's.
I love that, man. I love it.
Yeah, these are the moments that make it worthwhile when we can have this just one-on-one sometimes with one at a time. I love it.
I agree, man. We're both fathers of daughters, and to have those moments where you just sit down with one and be able to have a moment with them, learn, talk, have that special bonding moment. It's beautiful, man. I commend you for doing that. Well done. Well done. Well, today is we're starting again. I mean, we were off last week. It was a holiday here, but we are back. First of all, as always, a shout out to all of our loyal listeners. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you. I am the personal guy. Alex is the popular guy.
Yes.
And why are we calling ourselves this today, Alex?
Well, the popular guy. I strive to please, to be everyone, to be everything for everyone. I want to be popular. Please like me. Or sometimes. And Roger, why are you a personal guy?
Because I feel it's more important to touch the hearts of individuals and to let them know who you are and let them believe in you as a person rather than trying to please everybody. And that's why we're talking today about this subject. And maybe we could just ask our loyal listeners to put in the chat, are you a people pleaser, or do you just want people to love and like who you are for you, no matter if they do or don't?
Right. Please, so today's episode is titled, You Can't Please Everyone. Or can you? Well, this will be a great conversation. We were speaking off stage, and man, there's so much we can touch on. So let's start with discussing where this proverb or this popular saying might come from. There are various origins, and I've got one from France, but there might be one from England as well. You might have heard this, Roger. It's longer than the episode title. Now, this comes from the 15th century poet John Lydgate, or I guess we would have said Lydgate. You can please some of the people all of the time. You can please all of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all of the time. Right, Roger?
Right. Yes, indeed. I love that. And then there's been variations over the years, right, Alex? We've had different types of or different versions of that same saying over the years. But generally speaking, it comes down to you can't always please everyone.
Right. Now, I said there's another origin from France, right? Do you know this guy, Jean de La Fontaine?
No.
So French speakers will know who this is. Jean de La Fontaine.
Okay.
There are these fables, very popular, including the, what would it be in English? The tortoise and the hare, le lièvre et la tortue.
Tortoise and the hare. Yep. Okay.
But there's one called Le Meunier, son fils et l'âne. I won't try to translate the title, but there's one line at the end, and this is about an âne, a donkey who tries to please everyone. So he says near the end, I'm going to paraphrase here and skip a few lines. Pardon my French, I'm going to translate for you liberally.
Yes.
Je suis âne, il est fou qui s'y fie. Vouloir contenter tout le monde, c'est s'exposer à n'en contenter aucun. I am a donkey, yes. And it's the donkey talking, okay? The fables from La Fontaine are almost all about animals and their own nature. Beautiful. You should, I encourage everyone to go see Fables de La Fontaine, and surely you can find English variations. So he says, yes, I am a donkey, and wanting to please everyone, it is exposing oneself to please no one, which is what happens to him in this fable.
I like that. I like that. Man, well, Alex, it's one of those age-old wisdoms that we know about and we talk about as well. I mean, as speakers, we know that we try our best when we deliver a speech to touch the hearts of our audience. It's funny that I was in Barbados and part of my workshop was discussing just this topic because somebody said that they wanted to make sure that everybody loved their speeches. And so I stopped the conversation right there and said, okay, well, let's have a little bit of a discussion here, a debate on it, and see what other people feel. And there were some that really heavily agreed that they want everybody to be pleased by them when they speak. And yet there were others that were against it and said, look, I don't need to please everybody. I just need to have some other people come up to me afterwards and say that the message meant something to them, which is where I am on that side. And again, I will say this, Alex, there was a time where I wanted to please everybody in the room. That was my whole thought process, was to please everybody in the room. And then you get to a point where you realize, and we talked about this too, but you get to a point where you start concentrating so much on those who don't like you, that you forget about the group that has really, really enjoyed you for who you are and the message you deliver.
Right. And, you know, just getting ready for one of these talks, you could get feedback from people and then try to integrate feedback or suggestions from everybody because you think, okay, that's going to be good for that person. That's going to be good for that person. But then we get back to the donkey or another word for donkey, and you might not please anyone at all if you try to please everyone. So I like your approach of really trying to sacrifice a few people in the audience who might not resonate with what you're saying in order to reach those that need to hear it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does. Alice, I think that you need to understand that at the end of the day, whether you're speaking or just in general, we want to make this, we want to broaden this so that we don't just talk about it from the perspective of speakers. We're talking about in life, right? We're talking about in life. You got to know who that circle is of people that truly see you for who you are. It's like it's like me saying, okay, Alex likes me for this, so I've got to continue to be that way so that Alex likes me. Or Kathy, who's one of our loyal listeners, likes me because of this. And so I got to quickly try to do all those things so that she likes me. You can't do that. You stretch yourself so far, and then you start to question, who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I? Right, as a
Yeah.
person, I'm trying to be everything for everyone else, but who am I?
Right.
And that's the
Kathy.
question that a lot of times we have to ask ourselves: who do you want to be? I've got this T-shirt here that says "You matter," and it says in small letters a lot. Right? You have to figure out who you want to be, and then those that will attract to you the energy that you give. That's the people you want to concentrate on.
Yeah, we've got a few comments that go towards the idea of being exhausted. Like you mentioned, Kathy, who says people pleasers wind up being the cook at family events or doing all the planning. So she says boundaries are important. You can do it kindly, but boundaries are good. Rob
Yeah,
adds, too much people pleasing can lead to anxiety and exhaustion. Yes.
exactly. Shout out to you, Rob. How you doing? Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Now,
What about you, Alex? What do you think?
well, to come back to speaking a little, I mean, my main audiences are youth audiences. So I go to
Hmm.
schools and I go to uh, speak and tell stories and teach storytelling to all ages. But I'm going to
Hmm.
talk to you about the the adolescents, the teenagers. When I go to high schools, and this was really difficult when I started because they're a really tough bunch, really difficult to please. So I wanted to make sure that I was reaching everyone, um,
Hmm.
because I think there might be a difference between a keynote or a workshop with adults who have come for different reasons and going into a school where um, they didn't choose to be there. Let me say it
Yeah.
that way. So sometimes I come over and I'm like the odd guy out. I'm changing the routine and I'm coming
Hmm.
with something that is completely different. Well, if I'm part of the curriculum, as I often am in these classes, I have to be I have a responsibility of making sure that all these students are getting something out of it. So
Right.
while I understand that not all of these students that I visit will be pleased or happy with the presentation, I have to get a maximum uh, possible. So
Right.
it's taken a few years for me to be able to reach a maximum of them. But I remember, earlier on, especially when this was online,
Hmm.
there was one there was one presentation I did, and um, I got some feedback because they filled out a questionnaire at the end, and a few of them were quite negative. And
Mm.
14 or 16 years of age, you don't have any filters, which I did not like at the beginning, but now
Right.
I enjoy it because they will say exactly what's on their mind. So I got some negative feedbacks of, why is he here? I didn't learn anything, things like that. So when I get those feedbacks, I'm thinking I'm being paid by either the school or the school board or an arts council to be there and teach these children. And if they're not getting something positive out of it, I might not be invited again. So
Right.
I need to make sure that I please as many people as I can, or at least that they learn something, right?
Yeah. No question about it. No question about it. And this is what I hope that we are conveying to our listeners today. It's not about trying to please the masses, and especially for with the youth and stuff like that. Their ideas and their thoughts sometimes may not agree with what you're doing or how you're doing it, right? And I got to give a shout out to other speakers who also speak with youth. Shout out to Kwesi Millington and to Jeff Martin as well, who are very much involved in that. And Sam Dema, there's another person, and Ian Tyson. There are few speakers that I know that specifically deal with youth, and I'm pretty sure that they will agree with you that there are times when they've been there in a room and not everybody agrees with how they are approaching, but I'm sure, like you, Alex, or I'm not going to assume, I'm going to ask you the question: is it more satisfying when somebody comes up to you, when you're in person, and says, I needed to hear that, or that resonated with me?
Right. And like this comes to the idea of if I can only reach one person, then it will have been worth it. Um, but you might, yeah, of course. There's also the old proverb: if you save one life, it's as if you saved the universe, right?
Hmm?
Sometimes, if you're, especially if you're paid to go somewhere, are you really doing your audience a favor if you're just saving one, or if you're just reaching one person? I'm not sure. Now, before the
No,
show,
that's cool. I like how you put that. I like how you put that, Alex. I mean, at the end of the day, like even when I was in Barbados, I had everybody shouting out one because the idea was that you at least want to walk away feeling like you impacted one. But you're saying, if it's a huge crowd of, do you just want to please one? Maybe not. The ego would say we want to make sure that we please as many people as we can. But if you can walk away and say that, oh my God, I remember, like the memory of your topic or your speech, or even if you were in a room and you were at an event and somebody had a conversation with you and they said that what you're saying actually means a lot to me. Isn't that more memorable and pleasing to you than a bunch of, hey, that was great. Awesome job, thanks.
right? Yeah, you don't want to be too bland, right? Before the show, I got a comment about this topic from Maureen Zapala,
Mm,
and she was asking, well, what does it mean to please? Is it a perfect delivery? Is it stimulating content? Is it being hilarious and entertaining? Not being offensive any way? Not having anyone walk away or fall asleep?
right.
And she also says, sort of what I was saying here, pleasing everyone sets a bar too high, but pleasing only one sets the bar too low. Where can we find the juste milieu, the right middle, the middle ground?
But are you setting bars? That's maybe, and I shout out to Maureen as well. Love her, love her, love her. What's going on? How you doing? But from the perspective, am I saying that I'm setting my bar low if I want to know that I touch someone's heart? I don't think so. I think what I'm saying is that I would rather have that person, even if it's like 4 people, 5 people, 6 people. It could be all 30 or 100 people come up and say you actually really met some. But to me, in my heart, I think my bar is set high if somebody walks away and it absolutely impacts and changes the trajectory of their life or their thought process on something.
Roger, I don't
That
disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree on the result that you would have. That would be a fantastic result.
mhm.
However, if that's your objective of reaching one person, it feels like it's too low of a bar.
But it's not an objective. It's just that you want to be able to make sure that at least, that's why the key word, at least
At least,
one person walks out of there. There's the key word, right? One person at least walks out of there. It could be more than that, but I think that, and I like this. This is great. I'm glad that we're having this conversation, and there's a lot of comments in the chat. I'm running out of being able to concentrate on you and put them in here, so you're gonna have to jump in and start putting some in. But listen, the reality is, Alex, there's no right or wrong answer here, except for the fact that you don't want to uh, be upset or hurt if somebody doesn't like what you deliver. You got to take that with a grain of salt, and maybe, like we've talked about in other episodes, you use the strainer effect. Okay, so they didn't. If it's something that meant something to you and you figured, hey, this makes sense, then you keep it. But if you don't, then you move on from it. But it's the idea that if you have and again, we keep talking about it from a speaking perspective, but I just want to talk about it from you as a person.
mhm.
If
Yeah,
people don't
let,
like you, right?
let's
If
go to
people
to the person. But I want to touch on Rich because
Oh, okay. Let's see.
he's on. I think he's on my side on this one. He says, if only one person walks out with value, you're not a good speaker. You're just rationalizing. Thanks, Rich.
Ah, okay. Shout out to
So,
Rich. I love that. Hey, man, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I'm loving the fact that we have different views on this.
so
Again,
let's
I'm trying
get
to
off the
filter.
stage and give other
Yeah.
examples of like what Kathy was saying about organizing everything for everyone, or what other people have said about trying to be nice to to everyone or trying to be on the good side of everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see
Go ahead. Tell me.
what Suzanne here says. You can strive to be nice to those you encounter and those who are in your lives, as long as you are staying true to yourself.
Yeah.
You can't like everyone and you can't please everyone. It's healthy to walk away and not feel bad about it. Merci, Suzanne.
I love that. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, Suzanne. I'd like to know if Rich, from that perspective too, if Rich feels that he gets more out of it if everybody just taps him on the shoulder and says, "Congratulations, great job," right? So that's how I'm looking at it. It's different views from it, but I love Rich. Rich has been a guest on our show. Shout out to you, Rich, for that. This is why we have this conversation, and we say whether you agree or disagree, you can always find great combos. So I love it, but I'd love to know that. But yeah, Alex, I mean, I agree with Suzanne, right? I think that it's nice to, when you encounter people that if they love who you are and they enjoy being around you, those are the ones that you want to focus on and not worry about trying to please everybody, because it's not healthy at all to try to stretch yourself in so many directions.
Yeah, we've touched on organizing an event like a family gathering, but what else could it be, Roger? If you're just at at an outing somewhere, and there are different people who come and share their opinion. We talked about the people pleasing experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we want to please people, when we're a people pleaser, we tend to agree with others, even if we don't truly agree. And okay, that's nice, that's nice. And that, I think that goes against trying to be authentic, but also it goes against what we say each week of it's okay to disagree and still have a great conversation and remain friends as well.
No question about it. No question about it. I think it just shows, it comes down to that on a broader scale. When it comes to you as a person being authentic, your energy will attract the right people. Your energy will attract the right people around you, and they will see you for who you are, right? And those who don't, or we could even go further in this, Alex, and say there are those people that may never like you for whatever reason. Maybe you have things that they're wanting and they wish to be where you are, or they wish to be as popular, or whatever the case may be. You may not ever please them, but sitting there and worrying about that does you no good.
Right. You will get different feedback from each person that you meet, whether it's when you're on stage or when you're just in life, including when Kathy mentions her experience in fundraising, that sometimes people have told her, you smile too much. You smile too much when you're asking for money. Well, and other people will say, you don't smile enough. How about we just concentrate on doing what we think is the best thing? And people who like it will like it. People who don't will not.
Yeah, sure, for sure. I want to get all the comments out here, because we got a lot of comments. Right?
We will keep putting them on even after the show is over. But Roger,
oh my gosh,
we're short on time now. Roger, why don't I give you the last words of wisdom for today?
I think that it's most important, and I appreciate what everyone has said. Some have agreed, some have disagreed, but that's the beauty of what we do here. I think at the end of the day, it's all about being authentic, whether you are on stage or whether it's just in a personal level. Who you are is what matters most. How you approach and how you are seen by others, if you are authentic, is also what matters. If those who know you see you for that individual, that authentic person that you are, then they will like you for who you are. And those are the people that you circle around. Life is about understanding who values you and who doesn't value you. And at the end of the day, you can't please everybody, but you can know yourself, value yourself, and be yourself.
Right. And hopefully that's going to be good for the right amount of people. Roger, next week, shall we talk about what is it? What is it? Tell me here. Oh, yes, about actions and words. What speaks louder, words or actions? The saying says actions speak louder than words. Is that true? You might have heard the following statement from scientific research. Only 7% of communication are from the words that you say. Is that right? Here's a hint. No, it's not right. And we're going to touch on that tomorrow. If you've ever heard that statistic that 7% of communication is just the words, then you should listen to this conversation from next week, because we are going to debunk that, and we're going to say where that comes from exactly.
Ooh. Well, Alex, I gotta say this. There are times when we have conversations and we get a little bit of discussion from our loyal listeners, but today they were in full text and
on fire
mode. They were on fire.
Their fingers are hurting.
So we appreciate you for chiming in and sharing your thoughts. We will continue putting the thoughts in here as we come off. But as we always say, and we hope that you will continue the conversation even past this day or week, and you'll talk to your people in your community and your friends and everybody else. But as we always say, whether you agree or disagree, you can always find Great Convos. Thanks for joining us today. Have a wonderful week.
Bye-bye. See you next week.